Hello, everybody, and welcome back to a brand new week of CLX Foundry Live, where we go dive deep into somebody else's build and we put it together from the ground up. I'm your host, DJ Blue PDX, and joining me live from our studios in Wichita, Kansas, it is none other than our lead technical expert, Paul Steffens, and our master builder, Zach Killingsworth. Gentlemen, hello, how are we?
Hi. Hello.
Hi. Apparently, for some reason, everything is quiet on my end for no apparent reason. There we go. All right. Hi. So we've got a fun and yet terrifying build to put together. Anybody who remembers last year when we introduced the Oracle with this really cool spirit board on the front, nailed it. And it's just a beautiful case, and it's a beautiful case that everybody's afraid of. I love it personally, and apparently so does Lily in Wisconsin, which is fantastic because this is going to be we build for Lily. So with that being said, gentlemen, what are we shoving in this small box of evil?
All right, so starting out with our processor, we've got an AMD Ryzen 7 7800X 3D. To cool that, we've got our CLX Quench 360 AIO in black with the RGB cap. For our motherboard, we've got the MSI MPG X670E Carbon Wi-Fi. And for our memory, we've got two sticks of Team Group 16GB DDR5 6000 speed in black with the RGB heat spreader, so a total of 32 gigs of RAM. Now, a unique part of this build for our storage drives, we have three 2TB Samsung 990 Pros. You can see them all right there, so a total of 6 terabytes on that, and then there's also an additional 4 terabyte Seagate Barracuda hard disk drive. So what, 10 terabytes of storage on this thing, 6 being on NVMe, which is nuts.
Wild.
For our case fans, we've got 9 of our Game DS Aeolus M2 fans in black, and for our video card, we've got the AMD Radeon RX 7900 XT. This is the Sapphire model. And last but not least, our power supply. We've got an MSI 850 watt, 80 plus gold, fully modular in black.
Nice, nice. All right, well let's go and get her started. We get this going. Now look at the back of that. That is fantastic. First of all, huge shout out to Kyle and Nicole for making this because they came up with, I think, and personally my favorite ever. My favorite ever. We got a whole lot of chat coming up here, everybody, and so let's go ahead and get started. I got a whole. We are live right now today, by the way, on the TikToks, the Twitters, the Facebooks, the purple over on the Twitch, and the greens on the Kicks. Plus, we got YouTube. So we got a whole bunch of things to pay attention to. Now, let's jump over to TikTok first. And Savage Couple Gaming, thank you so much for sharing our video. Absolutely love it. Hello, can't wait to see what's coming out. Neither can I. I'm super excited. There's some really cool things coming up in the future. You want to upgrade one of your PCs? Oh, you want to upgrade one of our PCs? Oh, heck yeah, that'd be awesome. Love it. Let's see here. How do we know if on their website they have a chat support to help assist with picking out elements? Paul, I believe the answer to that question is yes, but I'm gonna let you handle this one.
Yes, we do. So there's a whole bunch of different tools we've got on there, but you can always just chat with the real person, tell them what games you're playing, they can put something together for you.
Nice. And we do have a little AI tool there. I'm not really sure, and that seems relatively smarter than a 5th grader. So I am happy to say, yeah, go ahead and try that out. On the purple side, we got Ron Burgundy in the house. Cosworth, hello. Kensu, Michael Doherty, afternoon. Hello, my friend. Good to see you. Lala's in here. Okay, so here's a good question. Ron Burgundy comes up and said, give me your opinion. Which combo is best for gaming? 1, a 7600 plus a 7900 XTX. 2, a 7700X and a 7900 XT. Or 3, a 7800 X3D and a 7800 XT.
So for me, I do option 2 there, but all of those are good configurations. I do option 2 because it's got a little bit better processor than option 1 with still a pretty high-end video card. So if it was me, that's what I would pick.
Nice. Nice. What is up, 3LZH? Now, We got all the plastic off, so let's take a look at this motherboard real quick. Now, first of all, this is an MPG X670E carbon Wi-Fi by our wonderful friends over at MSI. And at the very top, this has got some pretty great connectivity. First of all, at the very top, you've got your clear CMOS, your flash, all right there, so you can reset your things. Down below there, you've got your display port, obviously, and your HDMI. Below that, we have got our USB 10 gig. Now, that's a Type C, right? And then above that, we have one of our multiple USB Type A 10 gigs. And these are all 3.2 Gen 2s, clearly. Up above that first one, we've got our USB 2s. And then we down below there have a 2.5 gig Ethernet port, plus our 20 gig USB-C, which is fantastic. That's 10 gigs up, 10 gigs down. Obviously, we have our Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, and that is going to be Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, Wi-Fi 6E. And then we've got our SPDIF and all of your audio cables, and there we go. So lots of opportunity to connect things with this. And yes. So how many, thanks boys, I'm gonna go for option 2 then. There we go, yes, absolutely, absolutely do it. Over on the green side, hello Kensu. Danny Gota, welcome in. Over on the Year Turbs, we've got the Arkansas Relic in the house. Hello, my friend. And hello to everybody on the Twitterverse, or if you call it X. And Juliano Brum over on Facebook. Hi, buddy. How are you? Good to have you here. Jump back over to TikTok as we get started on our build. Let's take a look. Let me get a 4070 Super for free. Jacob, I'm going to feel like if that happens, I want one first. So, taking a look at what we've got on our build right now. This is a processor. Obviously, you got to have a processor to make it work. And this is going to be a Ryzen 7 7800X3D processor. Now, Paul, these are pretty unique when it comes to how different they are compared to other AMD processors. Why is that?
That's because these have the new 3D technology that AMD has been doing, which what that is they've been able to stack the cache, which is the small amount of memory on the CPU die. They've been able to stack that vertically, and why that's so special is that you get a larger surface area so that you can fit more cache on there. So I think we'll see, really good improvements on this in the future as well.
Real quick over on the TikTok side, Lily asked a good question. What is good enough to run an index with zero crash?
What is an index?
That's what I was going to ask, and I assumed you would know it. Lily, what do you mean by an index? As opposed to an outdex or just a straight dex?
It could mean
like,
so many things.
It's a Pokedex.
Oh, okay.
Is it is that it? Oh, is it a Pokemon thing? It could be. By the way, we've got McGee in the house over on the purple side, and it is McGee's birthday. I'm so excited because McGee has me playing as a birthday present for him. I'm playing Resident Evil Revelations today for the very first time. It's gonna be super fun. Vicious Kruznik is in the house on the green side. What's up, dude? How are you? How are you? How are you? Hope everybody over in your crew is great. Glad to have you here. Okay, now, as you noticed, Zach was putting on some little top knobbies onto the motherboard. Now, Zach, what are those for, and how is it what should you pay attention to when installing one of these for the first time?
Yes, so that is our retention kits. Retention kits come in all shapes and sizes. You have kits for AMD and kits for Intel. And then on top of that, you have your AM5 series and your AM4 series, which is 2 different kits. And then like in your Intel series, you're going to have your 12, 13, 14, 10th and 11th all on one. So just want to make sure that you use the right kit for the job.
Gotcha. Yes, absolutely. Vicious Kruznik's in pain. I hope everything's all right, bud. Yeah, it would like to be in pain. Nerve pain from my nerve damage. I'll be honest, yesterday I think I pulled a rib slightly out of place underneath my right scapula, and it took me like 4 hours to put it back in place by myself. It's interesting, like when you're a massage therapist or an occupational therapist, it's easy to put things back in place with somebody else. But when it's you, it's major difficulties. There we go. And we're still waiting on a definition of what you mean by run an index. Jumping back over, yes, Cosworth, happy birthday. And again, happy birthday to McGee. Absolutely fantastic. Love it. It's going to be fun. Now, as you're plugging one of these in, this is called an AIO. This is how we're going to cool that processor. Paul, what are things to keep in mind when you're putting your AIO on and that you need to pay attention to when it comes to ensuring that it's going to work efficiently?
So once you've got it secured to the board, the next things you're going to be doing are going to be plugging in the wires that are coming out of it. Now, some AIOs are a little different than others, but typically you're going to have a 4-pin fan header. That's what Zach's plugged in already. And then since this cooler has RGB, there's an RGB cable that's being plugged in as well. Once you've got those done, you're pretty much good to go. We'll add fans to the radiator, but we'll do that a little bit later. You don't have to open this up, add fluid. There's really no maintenance you have to do on these AIOs.
Joe Bills asks, how do you pull a rib? Honestly, you can pull a rib just by stepping off a curb wrong. Think of the spine as a spring, and everything is designed so that your head, being the giant bobble that it is properly supported on a consistent spring element. So, yeah, you can turn around in a car wrong, look over your shoulder, get hit by a car. That's usually one that everybody has. Fall off a bike. It doesn't matter. It can all cause what's called a subluxation, which is a semi-dislocated rib. And you got to get it back in there, but of course everything's seizing and it's painful, ridiculous.
You smoke them for 12 hours and then they just right out the meat and then you just...
So naturally what I did is just go find a hot tub and lay there until I can put a fork in it. But I'll tell you what's not going to have a fork in it, and that is going to be our RAM. I almost said ribs. Dude, I swear to God. We have two 16 gig sticks of DDR5 6000 by our wonderful friends over at Team Group. And these looks like batarangs, and I absolutely freaking love them. I think they're cool, personally, but that's just me. Some digital ribs? Yes. Oh, well, and, speaking of which, just to answer, well, to tell y'all something I did what was really cool. I made mushroom soup last night for the first time. With like 6 different types of mushrooms, onions, shallots, thing. It was fun. It was good stuff. Yeah, and I just had it for breakfast, so I'm very happy. I made it apparently much more than I should have. Uh-oh. All right, now here's where things are going to get interesting. Now, you want to talk about the triple threat? Here's a triple threat. A triple threat is when you got somebody who can like act, dance, and sing. The other triple threat is when you get 3 different 2 terabyte Samsung 990 Pro M.2s. 3 for a total right there, just right there, of 6. Yeah, 6 terabytes, which is fantastic. Absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, we're having to get to the extra M.2 slots now.
Right. How
Typically,
often do
we
you
just
actually
talk about these?
So be like, how often do you ever get to, have to access that on a live show? Because I don't feel like we ever usually go into the other areas.
It's been a while since we've done it. I mean, probably every builder probably sees it, I don't know, once or twice a day, but it is a little uncommon.
So now, Zach, you've definitely had experience with multiple M.2s. So let's walk through what are some of the best practices when it comes to hooking these in, where they go, making sure that you've got things should be removed. Let's walk through that process.
Yes, so ideally we want to start on our top port, and that will be the one that we always populate first. If we only have one NVMe, then this is all you have to do. But we like populating the top one. That's usually just set on the motherboard BIOS to read first. And NVMe is just the fastest, almost direct connect for thinking. So the fact that we've got 3 NVMe's on here, we can have one that's just solely for our op system, and then we can have the other 2 and the hard drive set up for like Steam hard drives and stuff like that.
Nice. And of course, this is not the only hard drive going in here, but we'll talk about that in just a second. Jumping back over to our friends on the TikToks. Life of Tim. Uh-oh. Wow. There you go. I'm just going to leave that one alone. Tim Walton says, announcer talks too much, annoying. See, I should really read these first, and then
Who said that? Who said that?
I don't know.
Get them out.
Nobody who's... It's not like that thing, something I haven't heard from my mom before. So there we go. All right, now we've got our 3 in there. So when it comes to identifying how the motherboard determines what drive goes where, how it recognizes them, is it usually always the top one that works?
Yes, it's usually the top one. 99% of the time, it's going to be the top slot. I think it was 10th and 11th gen Intels. You correct me if I'm wrong, Zach. I think it was those where we had to put some M.2s in the bottom slot, but that was a pretty rare thing. It's kind of like memory going in slots 2 and 4. You know, always check your motherboard manual, but pretty much safe to say if you've just got one drive, you should put it in that top slot.
All righty. Up next, what have we got?
So we're getting this cover back on. So all of our M.2s are installed. Plastics are getting peeled. Once this goes on there, we'll probably put fans on our radiator, and then we'll be able to put the board into the case.
Yep.
Okay. Now, jumping back over here.
It's even sticking to my hands
take a look.
without gloves.
Conrad has a good question. He says, I haven't seen Gen 5 M.2 drives in your configurator. Am I missing something, or are they hard to come by or low in demand? Good question. I don't have an answer, but you know who does? All.
Yeah, so I haven't seen like a bulk quantity of those come in yet. They're probably still pretty new, probably sourcing where to get them from. I'd just give it a little bit of time.
There we go.
Kind of like when DDR5 came out, you know, it's new stuff gets out, but it's not really mass produced right when it comes out, so it just takes a little bit of time for it to hit the market. Yep, no problem, Conrad.
Nice. But G also over on the purple side says, by the way, quick question. Does it make the PC slower if you have more M.2s? Does it need to search for the boot drive?
So it doesn't make it any slower. It's just going to read that slot first. Now another reason is on some motherboards, that top slot might be a Gen 4 slot and the others might be Gen 3. Now you can put a Gen 4 drive into a Gen 3 slot, but it's just going to operate at that Gen 3 speeds. So they are backwards compatible as far as that goes, but no, it's not going to slow down your PC by having 2 1 terabytes versus a single 2 terabyte.
McGee mentions it's got 3 M.2s, but it takes quite a while to start up if I compare it to my laptop. I mean, I have 2 M.2s, and it's not the fastest of startups, but it starts up. But there's a lot of stuff in there. So,
yeah, it could be the speed of the NVMe drive in your laptop might be a little faster.
Ooh, I didn't even think about that.
So I would look at maybe in your laptop it's a Gen 4 and what you've got in your desktop is a Gen 3. If your system is a little bit old, when M.2 drives first came out, they were actually at SATA 3 speeds. They weren't even NVMe yet. So there's a lot of little variations within the M.2s. Really, the furthest I go looking at them other than capacity.
Amazing?
Yeah, it's just the generation.
Yeah. Hashim, what's up? How are you, bud? The rumor is that there is a 10,000 megahertz RAM on the horizon.
Ooh, I have not heard that rumor, but shoot, that wouldn't surprise me.
Right? Yeah, I'm not shocked, but also, dang. Here we go.
It's so wild.
Yeah, especially the way that things have evolved in the last just 15 to 20 years.
Mm-hmm.
McGee says, my laptop takes like 10 seconds, my PC maybe between 60 and 90 seconds to load. Well, I mean...
Yeah. I mean, that's more of a different... I wouldn't expect your... oh, gotcha. I wouldn't expect your OS to boot up like that on an M.2 on your PC, but there could be like some other processes that are going on in the background. You can go into your BIOS of the machine and you can turn off the logo display on boot up, and that will save you a few seconds. That's kind of a nice little cheat you can do. Pretty much every motherboard BIOS, they want you to see that branding right when you turn on your PC, but you can have it turn that screen off, and that'll save you some time.
There we go. Raven is epic. Says, how's it going? It's going well. Worked last weekend, and then slept most of yesterday. Just because I realized it is working until 4 a.m. in the morning, DJing like a whole night is, and then having to be up the next day for stream. I'm getting a little old for this. It finally gave in, says could be the OS isn't on the M.2. Oh, that's an interesting concept.
Could be.
Yep. We still haven't got a great response for what an index is by Lily. Lily, if you're still in the chat over on TikTok, let us know what you mean by index, because we'd love to help out. We just are not really sure what that is in reference to. Okay. Now, as we get this all on, obviously we've got a secondary drive where you saw him just put right there, and let's talk about that for a second. That is, of course, a 4 terabyte Barracuda by our friends over at Seagate. Yeah, 4 terabyte Barracuda. This is a great drive. So for those who might not understand what the big difference is between solid states, mechanicals, and M.2s, Paul, what exactly are they?
Sure, so biggest difference is going to be these mechanical drives that Zach just installed. You can see right there. These have moving parts in them. That's why they're called mechanical. There's actually a stack of platters that look like small CDs and an arm that swivels across and between those platters to read the data. So with these drives, these are a lot slower than our solid state drives, like your NVMEs and 2.5 inches. However, with the improvements in technology, the hard drives are a great cheap way to get a bunch of extra storage. So if you got like a big game library or video library, this is a great secondary drive to add in your system that doesn't cost you a lot of money and you still get a lot of storage.
Andres Renteria over, I think it's Renteria on the Facebook side of life mentioned that I wonder if y'all built mine on here, just shipped yesterday. I don't remember that name on our show for Thursday, but if it was shipped, congratulations. And we have a whole channel in our Discord at discord.gg/CLX Gaming that is dedicated to everybody posting their CLX Gaming PC setups. So please feel free to jump on in there. It is once again discord.gg/CLX Gaming. We would love to see what you've got. All righty then. Now, what's next?
Perfect, yeah.
It's time to mount the motherboard.
Boom. All right, now we're going to pop this in here. Things to pay attention to when you're dropping in a motherboard. Paul.
Number one is going to be the standoffs that you can see all around here. Second is going to be our I/O shield lining up with our port. Now this board and a lot of boards nowadays come with the I/O shield pre-mounted to the motherboard, so you don't have to install the I/O shield before you put the board in. But if you have one of those boards, you need to put your I/O shield in first, and then you can start tightening down your motherboard. It can be an easy thing to forget, and then you get all your screws in and realize, oops, now I got to pull the motherboard out.
Definitely hear you on that one. Derek Venable is in the house over on the blue side. What's going on, my friend? Good to see you, dude. Derek basically, what was it, spring, summer, decked his whole house out, kids and all, with new CLX PCs, which was fantastic. We appreciate it. Glad to have you here. Glad to see ya. Finally gave in, says it could be, finally gave in does actually have a point. It could be that the OS isn't on the first M.2.
Could be.
I don't know how that would happen, but I can imagine that it's possible. It's technology after all.
Landly bracket.
Okay, so
only bracket.
I'm just going to install one. Yes.
Yeah, that sounds good. I assume this card's going to be pretty long.
Yeah.
what do you mean by a bracket?
So we're talking about an anti-sag bracket for extra support on the video card. So we'll get our video card out here in a little bit, but with the anti-sag brackets that we like to use, it's basically a second standoff that goes inside the other standoff, and that will raise this up so Zach can get this mounting piece in. So this is just the first part of this. We won't add in the little arm that holds the card until near the end of the build after we get the card in.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, that sounds like a plan. I'm going to love how because the MSI logo always looks incredible when it lights up. It's a lot of fun. So, Derek says, the PC you guys built was the greatest gift to my stepson. You guys made it happen. Oh, thanks, man. And
Thanks, Derek. Appreciate that.
It's our pleasure, my friend. It's our pleasure. Yeah, now I'm still trying to determine what I'm going to do with my M.2 that I have in my old gaming PC because it's got an operating system on it. Or whether I should just use it as something else. I'm actually considering making it my streaming PC, except for that 120. That 120 push pull is what is just making me go, yeah, no. And on an I would get it if it was an i7, but it's an i9 9900K. That thing runs hot, and that 120 just doesn't do enough to cool it.
Yeah.
And this is why I love CLX PCs, because they don't do anything dumb like that. Now, one thing that's really smart about this, as we can see, obviously, Zach's putting in that radiator to the very top, getting all the cabling through. But you'll notice there's a little ledge just down below that, and that is where we have the angle with the grommets. And that's because this is a 2/3 or 3/4 build. Paul, what does that mean?
So that means that our motherboard sits 2/3 of the way down into the case. So that leaves us a bunch of room in the back for power supplies, extra storage drives, a good cable management area, and so on. So overall, it's really for looks, in my opinion. I do like the look of these systems, the 2/3 where your power supply is hidden and extra drives are hidden. But it also has some functional use as well. So the power supply does generate some amount of heat. It's not a lot, but having it separate in its own compartment back there prevents that from getting into the main portion of the case.
Yep. Temperance mentions just pull it, reformat it, and put it in the new PC for more storage for games. That's not a bad idea.
That's what I would do.
Akemi or Akemi says, saying hello again. How are you guys? I'm doing well. How are y'all?
Doing good.
Yeah, I feel like we're having a good one. It's finally cool in the Pacific Northwest, and it's raining. And this morning I woke up to fog and mist, and it felt wonderful. Good day for listening to some...
A week away from Halloween. Next Thursday, is that right?
Oh, my gosh.
It's almost here.
I finally have a mask this year to see if I can actually scare the local kids, because I'm not donning that Master Chief costume again. That thing weighs a bloody ton. But I was Master Chief for one Halloween, and it was kind of wild to see the amount of, can I get a picture with you stuff? I thought, all right, sure, whatever. Now, from the bottom here, let's take a look. Since we've got this down here on the bottom, we've got these 4 feet, and then you've got your bracer there, that gap. Now, what does that do, and how does that affect?
So we're going to have 3 intake fans down here. Now, we do have our feet here, and it is important to keep this gap between the bottom of our feet and the bottom of the chassis clear. That way we can get fresh air inside.
Akemi asks, how often do you guys do giveaways? It depends. Depends on the month. It depends on the season. Just stay tuned and continue to tune in, and you will know when our next one is, because it could be any time. Who knows? All right. Now we've got this to flip around. So, Zach, when it comes to putting in that other hard drive, where exactly is that going to sit?
So this bad boy sits on a hard drive bay, like on the 011. Every once in a while it'll be like that center bar. But this can hold a couple of hard drives, or we can hold some SSDs as well. And then it just covers up our cables, so it will eventually sit right here and get screwed into the top. But we do have a couple things to do before we can get there. Need to get all of our cables in and tied up, and then we can slide that in.
Nice. Andres asks, is this possible an Oracle edition? It absolutely is an Oracle edition, and it's going to be fun. Remember, the Oracle is available right now for purchase, but it's for a limited time, so make sure if you're going to get one, get one. Akami coming back says, cool. Can't wait to build my PC. The Ryzen 7 7000X 3D just came back in stock finally. Yes. Nice. Whoa. Andres said that's the same. So did you guys build one for Andres, an Oracle in the last week? I mean, I'm sure you did, but that's what Andres ordered.
We have built, since they went live on October 1st, an average of 8 to 10 a day.
Something like that. Yeah, it's really popping off. So
Wow.
Yeah, this is a super populated.
It is a limited time thing, so
Yes.
if you do want it, you should get one.
Yep. Yes. And of course, this is a set build you can find with the horse case. Definitely check that out. And Temperance I mentioned not everybody has 15 terabytes of storage on their PC for games. Well, that's because if you don't have the 15 terabytes, obviously it means that you've already installed Warzone, Warzone 2, Warzone 3, and you still have them all. Your build was finished on the 16th. Oh, that wasn't a little bit ago. Nice. Gee, you don't have 15 terabytes? What's wrong with you? Can we not shame people right now? Just kidding. Now, there is several sets of cords that you want to be concerned with when you're running your cable management. I am awful at cable management, so I'm going to let the expert start with talking about what's the first thing you want to bundle up for your cable management, Zach.
Yes, so I really like getting my motherboard in, and then I will take care of the case cables, which the case cables are the front panel, which will consist of, on this thing, a Type C, a Type 3, a power button, a reset button. We also have a HDD light, so that gets plugged in as well. And the HD audio. So quite a few things get plugged in. By separating things out, it does make it a lot easier to
Perfect.
not have
And we had a question
excess.
about where you can get that hoodie that your handsome friend in the glasses is wearing. Well, I'll tell you what, you can find them on our website. You can pick them up with your PC purchase.
We got them in red, gray, and this lavender.
Yep, and I like it. Their lavender is more solid than mine because I have a green screen filter on, and so it's making it weird. I dig it. And it has gotten cold enough in this house that I'm like, okay, good. Which yesterday, no. Yeah, because I'm still sitting at 39. So I had this little moment when I was playing some God of War last week that I have it on high settings, and it just went up to 70, 72 on my CPU and my GPU, and I never seen it go that high. It was like, oh gosh, Frankie, what's going on? Welcome in the house over on the purple side. What's up, man? But yeah, now I've got reasons to wear my windbreaker again. Yes.
Kind of in that weather here where the heater's on in the morning and then the AC's on the way home.
Yep.
Right. Why is that a thing that seasons have to have? Like, well, let's just go fall and just not get crazy. Yes. Agreed. Well, okay, I mean, we did have them for sale at DreamHack in Atlanta, which was a lot of fun. Yeah, people could get them.
Done with that. Now let's do more fans.
More fans and more fans and more fans.
I heard you liked
What?
air movement.
Gotta move that air.
1, 2,
From
3,
point B to point C.
4. Well, you have 5 M.2s, 2 of which are 4, 3 of which are 2. That just saying that out loud is so confusing. That's what Temperance has in her rig.
Wow.
Dang! I know that I got back on, I think it was Prime Days last year. I picked up some Western Digital Blacks.
I'm so excited.
The 1 terabytes. So I have 2 of these, and then I have a 2 terabyte SSD that I got from my DJ gear to just be able to bounce music back and forth because I have way too large of a library for my own good. Yeah. Let's see here. Yep. Already covered that, but yes. And yes, we have a. I do not believe at this time that you can purchase them separately on our website, but definitely, they're definitely fun.
Speaking of Prime, DJ, this might entertain you. When I get home today, there's going to be a synthesizer sitting on my front porch.
What?
I know. I ordered the synthesizer that David Bowie uses.
You're gonna start making some beats.
I'm gonna learn Star Trek, baby.
Nice.
That's fantastic.
And I'm just gonna walk around with it in my pocket, and whenever I'm bored, I'll just start making my own soundtrack.
Okay, how big is it?
It's.
I'm imagining like a keyboard sound, like
it's,
a music.
It's a little.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah.
You can just make music on that thing. Nice. Do some synthwave stuff.
Yep.
He's gonna have his own intro music when he walks into a restaurant. That's hilarious. Can you get a theremin on Amazon? Actually, there's a new device that is based on the theremin, but it's a full digital experience, and that is equally as bonkers. I love it. I love it. Was browsing stream, and I kid you not, there's a game called Need for Drink.
What? What?
See, things I should read before I say them. Cosworth. That seems like a weird category, but okay. So, ZenZ Media over on the YouTube side says, I want to fill my last M.2 slot. Will this slow down my GPU or CPU? Good questions, Lens.
No, it will not.
There you go. And there's the answer. Negatory, good buddy. Negatory, good buddy. All right, so as we're getting the rest of our cables out the back, now we've got to put our final fans in. Now, this is going to create a really great airflow for this build out. The reason that is because we've got, obviously, as you can see right there on the left-hand side, you've got that clear grating, right? You can see right through it. It's going to have good ventilation. But we've got 6 different fans pushing air in. So you've got the 3 on the bottom and the 3 on the back. But we only have 3 pushing out the top through the radiator, which means that excess airflow is going to push right out that back grid without any, with ease. So, Paul, what is this called, and why is this a good thing to do?
So with 6 fans coming in and 3 leaving, this puts us in a positive pressure environment inside the system, which is what we want. If we have more fans exhausting than we do bring in it creates a negative pressure, which will create a vacuum inside your machine, and it'll just cause dust, pet hair, all some stuff you don't want to get sucked in through the little cracks and crevices of your PC. It's not going to make your system blow up or anything like that, but if you can set it up in a positive pressure way, we recommend doing that.
Quick question coming in over on the TikTok side. Is 5600X and a 3060 good?
Yeah, that is a pretty good combo. Nice little mid-tier gaming PC.
Nice. And Zlens, yeah, no problem. That's what we're here for. And of course, if you all have questions, again, if you have any questions or you hear something or a term that you're just not familiar with or otherwise, please let us know. We love answering questions and seeing who's the smartest cookie in the barrel. Mostly because I feel like you get smarter if you put your cookies in a barrel before you eat them. Yeah. Phoenix, whose order we're working on this is for our friend Lily in Wisconsin. How are you today? That was fast, dude. While we're taking a look at the front here, Paul, can you walk through what those ports are on the front of the case?
Sure. So starting at the top, we got our power button here, reset button, couple lighting, different speeds, different mode buttons. And then under that, we've got our headset/mic port, USB Type-C, and then 2 USB 3.0s right there.
There we go. Nicely done. Nicely done. Waiting on your Jess from Jacksonville, Phoenix says. Oh, you're waiting on yours? Nice. Well, I'm excited. Like so, gentlemen, this is Jess from Jacksonville. I'm sure that one of them, if not one of those two, then definitely one of our builders in the back have grabbed and started your system. Ayo Pro 2, thoughts on what parts I would potentially need to replace to get to DDR5? That is a motherboard.
Yeah, so if you're going from DDR4 to DDR5, unfortunately, you will need to buy a new motherboard, which will mean you might need a new CPU, depending on what motherboard you currently have.
And that's something that I was.
Intel shared a socket, but some did not, and the AMDs did not.
I thought it was interesting because there were some when I was looking at process of rebuilding my streaming PC. There are some processors that are not DDR5 compliant. I didn't even think about that. The processor has to be able to utilize the RAM effectively in order to make it function. So it has to be capable of working in that environment. And if it's not, it just can't. And then you're stuck in DDR4s, which is not a bad thing. DDR4 is just fine. It's just, But yeah, what are you working with there, Proto? And
Alrighty.
ye who house shall not be named only because I can't see your name says is 4070 and a 7800 X3D a good combo?
Yeah, that's a pretty good combo. That's getting to the high end range for sure.
Haha, I just bent something.
Oh no.
And that's where you take this and do
Custom.
burp.
Let's see here.
There we go.
Ariana Walker over on the Facebook side. Hello, how are we? This is cannot wait to get my Oracle soon. Shipping on the 24th. Been a month since my PC crashed. Stoked to get it back to get back to gaming. Heck yeah, let's go. I've been loving this comment.
Noise. So what I'm expecting then is just like a wall of Oracle pictures on our Discord page.
Oh yeah, it's gonna happen. And again, we have a whole section dedicated to people who take pictures of their CLX PCs in our Discord. And if you want to join there with a bunch of other like-minded PC enthusiasts and gamers, head on over to discord.gg/CLX Gaming. Or I think we have a exclamation Discord command. Maybe not. Let's do this. How we do? Yeah, I got it. Pop on over, say hello.
Thank you, Macho. Appreciate that. Oh my goodness, I feel like I just slid the whole thing.
I think that was
I just leaning on the card. Well, I think I'm going to get our power supply out just so we can start going through the cables. I really want to open this video card, but I'm going to save it for the end.
I hear you. All good. So for a power supply, we have an 850 watt MSI mag. Now this is an AB50 GL. No, I'm sorry. Yeah,
there's a lot of letters and numbers in the model.
It's got a lot of letters in the mag.
It's a license plate.
But important thing is it's an 850 watt fully modular 80 plus gold. This power supply does come in white, so if you do configure a white build, we do have those as well.
Wait, what do you mean? What do you mean by fully modular? I've never heard that term before.
What? All right, so what fully modular means?
I don't agree with that.
No cables are installed on or soldered into the power supply. You can see what I'm getting at right here. This is our power brick power supply with all the components in there. No cables. So it's got these ports on here that all of the cables that come in the bag will go into. So we like using modular power supplies because it makes our lives easier as builders. Your system is just going to be a lot cleaner, and you can install cables without having the power supply installed. You'll see us sometimes on the show run our CPU power cables before having the PSU installed, because that can be kind of a tight area in the build. So there's a lot of good reasons to go with modular, but if you it is an area of the build where you can save some money and go with non-modular and not sacrifice any performance.
Let me just see the...
Let's see here. So AO Proto says back to the question of what they were working with. Have an MSI B550A Pro ATX motherboard and a Ryzen 9 5900X.
Yes, you're looking at quite a few upgrades to get to DDR5 there.
Let's see.
But that is a really good processor. So unless you're doing some really intense stuff and it's not keeping up, which I don't know, you might just stay there. But if you want to upgrade, do it.
Big G, good question. Is there a recommended power supply, or does it only matter how much watts you get?
So the biggest thing is the watts. That is the reason you're buying the power supply, to get that. Now, As far as brand goes, I would go with a well-known brand. There is a lot of, if you like go on Amazon and look at power supplies, you can find a lot of options of brands you've never heard of before that don't have an 80+ rating and could be kind of sketchy. I wouldn't go with one of those. I'd go with a well-known brand that's at least got an 80+ or higher rating. Those are the CPUs.
Zlens mentions, are those people behind you trying to get to the new Oracle Edition PC? I'm gonna be honest, they're trying to get to my duck. They're trying to get to my duck, which I have a margarita duck, and yes, you can pop the tail off and sit in a bathtub and have your own little, you know, whatever you want to put in there when it's considered to adult beverages, provided that you're old enough and respect the law. But you know, all those things. But that's what they're trying to get to. It just looks like brains and meat to them, so you know, there's
DJ likes drinking Moscow Duckies. Instead of Moscow Mules, they're Moscow Duckies.
Oh my gosh! Yes,
because those are always served in like a specific container.
Joe 425 over on the green side. Hello! Those guys are a bit quackers like you. Yes, that is an accurate statement and assessment of the situation. There you go.
I want to point something out about this
Yes, please do.
Power supply that I thoroughly enjoy a lot. If you have any NVIDIA product, it comes with a cable. And this is a fancy cable, not just a fancy cable. It has the 12-volt high pin, 16 pin on both ends, so that means that we have that port on this. So if we ever upgrade our graphics card, we have a cable that we don't need a dongle for.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it is nice to see that cable included.
Nice.
Yes. I wish every company did that.
Yes.
Right. Beavis Buggy over on the purple side has a good question. I always had the opinion that you do not mix red and green, which I'm assuming is the
NVIDIA and
NVIDIA and AMD. Mm-hmm. But I see it's fairly common now. In theory, will AMD and Radeon not perform better than having an AMD with a similar NVIDIA card? Question.
It just comes down to the card. They do play very well together now. That might have been a thing, you know, maybe a decade ago or something like that when I was first getting into building it. You know, that might have been a little bit more true back then, but no, there's plenty of crossovers between AMD and NVIDIA now.
Over on the Facebook side, Richard Heck III says, is this the Oracle? I have one built right now, but I need to see it live before I pull the trigger. Oh, do you want to show him some of those panels real fast?
Oh, yeah.
Trust me, this is, you're going to, I am so in love with this. It's not even funny. That is what it really looks like. You've got your spirit board on the right. You've got your death card on the left. And then you've got and the back panel is also equally as just amazing. It's fun. So I'm excited to see, you know, if you decide to grab it, which I hope you do, it's going to be fun. Absolutely amazing. Okay. Yeah, the detail on the death card is just fantastic. Yeah, absolutely, dude. Absolutely. We're excited.
Yeah, we'll get you the back panel too real quick as well.
Yeah, let me show you this. This is going to be good. This is the good stuff right here. Right? It's so cool. Yeah, I love it. That's what I'm planning on replacing my streaming PC with in a perfect world. Joe mentions on the green side, I'm running a 5800X with an NVIDIA card without any issues. Oh, well, that's good. That's definitely good. Does an RTX 4090 fit in that case? Absolutely.
Yeah, you can fit a 4090 in this case. Now, there might be some models that you that wouldn't fit, but you definitely could get one in here. Which we might as well get this card out. So.
And then, of course, Richard mentions, okay, y'all doomed me. I'm ordering it now.
It's definitely our most popular print design. So,
while you're pulling that out, Solo 710 asks for our opinions on the 7900 XTX.
It's a really solid card. It's definitely, obviously it's high end on the Radeon side. I don't really have any bad things to say about it, honestly.
Yep. Ooh. Now, this is an AMD Radeon RX 7900 XT. say we have a 20 gig. What we got?
20 gig.
This is a big card. Paul, walk us through some of the cool things about this card. What makes it different?
Just right off the bat, I don't think I've opened a Sapphire brand of one of these, so it's kind of a first time for me as well. Right off the bat, this is a pretty large card. It's a triple fan model. I'll go ahead and get all this plastic off here in just a minute. 2 8-pin power connectors. I like that. Pretty clean back plate
wow,
here.
that's a great back plate. Look at that.
And then we've got 3 display ports and an HDMI for a video. Oh, I lied. 2 HDMI and 2 display port.
2 and 2.
Now, see, that's
2 and
interesting.
2.
I spent, and of course, I spent forever avoiding DisplayPort just because I was getting it mixed up with the, what was the other one that had all the little pins on it?
There was VGA and DVI.
DVI. For some reason, I was thinking DisplayPort was DVI, and there was 30 or 40 different possible configurations on a DVI cable, and none of them ever necessarily included audio. So I was like, well, I don't want just video. Tell someone who's like, listen, dummy, it gives you actually more audio than you would think. Oh, well, darn. So first impressions, you've got this. It seems to look fairly heavy. How's it feel in your hands? What are some things that stands out about it?
Yeah, this is a heavier card for sure. Now, it's not the heaviest one I've held, but you definitely will want to use an anti-sag bracket in this, so it's nice that we're already set up for that. Got one more little plastic peel here. Sapphire.
All right, good question, McGee. About the 4090, you said it depends on the card model. Does the Inno3D GeForce RTX 4090 iChill X3 fit?
I'm
an
not familiar with
iChill?
that one. Let me.
I don't think I've seen an
Let me
iChill
find
in
out
a
real
long
quick.
time. I thought those were a little bit on the bigger side.
Yeah, I feel like we may have got a shipment of those once.
Man, I
I'll go
remember
ahead
the
and find out
iChills.
for you though.
I'm just going to search it because I want to see this thing. This looks like a bad boy. Come on.
The
let's go.
iChills were pretty cool.
I chill, you chill. We all stop yelling at each other, and somebody's going to end up getting sorbet. Oh my God.
Right? It's pretty.
That thing is enormous.
Enormously pretty.
Well, I mean, it's just not even like a normal. Oh no, that one is better. The original one that came up on Google search was like just ridiculous.
So
That
this
looks thick.
definitely lengthwise this should fit. Now I'm looking to see where the power connectors are. They might have put them on the side, which is a good thing. Because just the little addition to have that power cable, just having it stick out a little bit will cause it. Nope, it looks like it's on the front, but it's recessed a little bit. So you should definitely be able to make that work in this case.
Jimmy asked over on the Facebook side, asks, out of curiosity, is that built for a James? Actually, it's not. It's for a Lily in Wisconsin. But these guys have been having, these have been just popping off for the last
We're building these as
several
fast
weeks.
as we can here.
Okay, now what's left? We've got to put this in there. So anti-sag
can't
brackets
tell,
are
I have
important
built
because we
so
want to
many
make sure we don't
on
break
the
the board.
system.
How can a heavy graphics card break a board?
All right, so how that works is cards installed in your system like this, right? The only mounting points are on this little tab right here that go into the side of the PC. So as these cards get bigger, they need support on this side because over time your system, if you don't have an anti-sag bracket over here, it's going to slowly start to sag down a little bit, which can cause damage to the motherboard PCIe slot where it's connected to or the card itself. So just having a little bit of support on this side will prevent all that damage from happening.
Yes, yes. Yes, yes. The power connector is on the side. My card is vertical inside of my case. Otherwise, it didn't fit.
Yeah.
Makes sense? But it sounds like a good plan. All right, now we're getting this up here. We've got our power supply here in the back. I have heard the question asked many times, what is the benefit of having the power supply in the back as opposed to just wherever?
I think for overall aesthetics, I think it just gives you a cleaner look, but then the power supply is going to get its own air in from the back side of the case and shoot out the back, so none of that heat goes into the main body of the case.
Oh, Jimmy's like, I'm asking because mine is being built as well for Wisconsin. What?
Yeah. Ooh. Well, let's just give you the address and phone number and all the personal information. Just kidding. We'll find out if it's you or not.
That's hilarious. Okay, now, one thing to notate when you're looking at the top, you see how that is going to be pushing the air through the radiator when it comes to where to put your PC, because everybody's got a different opinion. We've talked about this a lot on the show, but I want to make sure everybody's is aware as to why we say this in the show. What's the best place to put your PC, and what's the best way to ensure that it stays free from static electric discharge?
Yeah, so the biggest things are going to be wherever the intake is on your PC. So for this one being on the bottom, we want this bottom area to be clear, so we don't want it, getting clogged up with any carpet or anything like that. If your intake's on the front, then you can, kind of put it wherever, as long as you don't, keep that front area open so it can breathe properly. But that's the biggest thing that we're talking about when you're placing your PC somewhere. You want it to be able to breathe properly.
Yep. Did you need to nap? No. I had breakfast, which I don't usually. I usually have been like, I've been working on changing my diet so that or changing my meal plan so that I'm not constantly just stress eating. Well, I had some of my mushroom soup for breakfast, and there we go. I am still successfully off of all the caffeine, so I'm very happy about that one. BADFB. Wow. That's a gorgeous card. Now, how does an anti-sag bracket work, Zach?
Are they on there? Yeah.
Sorry?
How does an anti-sag bracket work? Because I see the little side frame, but just in case people are confused,
Yes, so we will insert our card, and then we will mount the card to the case over on the IO side. And then ideally what we want to do is just make sure that it's at a level. Now, a lot of people say, can you install a graphics card standing up? Yes, you can. But when I am playing with a $2,000 4090 Strix Edition graphics card, I am going to be laying the computer down because that is a heavy card. If I'm installing a 3060, that's a pretty small card. That's probably a 2-slot, 2-fan card that I can easily hold comfortable in my hand, and that'd be okay to install. But when it comes to the bigger, heavier equipment, definitely laying it down is very helpful.
Yeah, you just don't have to worry about holding it steady while it's in there. Gravity's doing all the work for you by doing it like this.
So, question coming in about the case. If the card is too big, does the case support a vertical mount?
This case, I don't believe has support for a vertical mount, but there are very similar cases to it that do.
There you go.
All right.
We're getting so close now. So close.
I will change these out once I get back to the back. I only have white ones right now, but they will
it'll be easier for everybody to see this way, so that'll be good.
So I personally like having one at the top. When it comes to this little Lin Lee one, it adds a nice little, kind of like in the obelisk when you see us build on those. Those have like that clamp down from both sides, or like the 011 Evo. So this just essentially, I've got a block on the top and a block on the bottom. So when I go to move the card, it's wedged in pretty taut, like not tight, but it's just held perfectly with these two little L's to where it doesn't bring it down, causing any damage to our PCI slot or graphics card or motherboard.
Nice.
Then
Perfect.
good guy. Right? Yeah. 2.
Do you already get your SATAs?
There's
Yes, I
something-
did a
okay, very
SATA.
cool.
Yeah, I just did the one because they got 4
All right.
on a line.
There we go. Now, of course, when you take a look at that AIO, you'll notice where the pumps are sitting and where those cables are. Paul, why is that?
So for our hoses on our AIO, we want where they're going into the radiator to be above the pump. So obviously this is the top of the case right here. I know we're looking at it from the side, but you could have this radiator mounted over here as well. We just like to keep where those pumps go into the top of the radiator above the pump, because that will prevent any amount of air that's in there to get to our pump.
Yes. And Nolan Clover brings up a good point on the purple side. Says vertical mounts look great, but riser cables are a possible point of failure. AO Proto asks, is PCI short for something?
Yes, I believe it's peripheral connect something, enter something.
Express.
So you have PCI, and then you had PCIe, peripheral component interconnect. There you go.
All right.
And then if you add the
Now-
little E next to it, that's express.
Gotcha.
Actually
Like
is
the
a
clothing
different
store.
slot.
Yes,
Yes.
it is a difference.
All right. And these all put together. Now, when you are connecting your cables that you're doing like right now, how tight do you want to pull that zip tie?
When it comes to a cable like this has a really nice strong rubber housing around it. So you can pull it taut. You don't want to like super hulk it because you can cause a kink in the cable to cause a short. But on most of the nice rubber housed or braided cables, just getting them to where they won't shift around is good. But also with that, leaving just enough, I call it the IT fingers, to where we can get our fingers behind the cable and unplug it and plug it back in just in case we have to do any IT work. What's the first thing they always say is turn it off and on again, unplug it, plug it back in again. So if you can make it easier on yourself.
The irony of how many times that solves problems is ridiculous. It's just like, oh, yeah, no, that works. All right, getting those plugged in. Now, are there any things that when it comes to how you're laying out or what order you connect all of your power supply cables into, what's the best way to do that?
I like kind of working at it with getting the big stuff in first. So like your 24 pin, you're always going to need, your CPUs, you're always going to need, and then some SATAs you're always going to need. And then I'll usually do my VGA cable last because we're installing the graphics card last. And then it just kind of, you can see this is a really nice case for cable management. So I've got 2 really good looking runs right now.
Nice. I am excited.
Oh, that was the one.
Very excited.
To go to.
So what are you guys doing for Halloween?
I'm going to be taking the kids trick-or-treating this year. We have a pretty good, we started a pretty good tradition a couple years ago, so we got some friends that bring the kids over and they all go through the neighborhood and whatnot.
Nice.
That sounds good and safe.
Yeah, it's fun. My kid's going to be a cop this year. She said she wanted to be a cop so she could arrest people.
Steal their candy?
Right.
Wow.
So we got her it's like a SWAT cop costume, right? It comes with handcuffs. Well, she didn't realize that it came with keys, and she threw a fit the other day when she was looking. She's like, "This comes with keys," and was crying and like, it's like, why? She's like, she didn't want to let people out of the handcuffs when she arrested them. I'm like, oh my gosh! They're just like little plastic keys, girl. Come on. That's great.
I come home and your dog's handcuffed to the table.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like, what's going on?
Come on. I do have a dog. I've got a little, well, I shouldn't say little. I've got a giant chocolate lab. He's like 2 years old and 80 pounds. Rosie, she's crazy, but she's a sweetheart.
Yes. Arcade Revolution, I would just say you need to contact customer support.
I guess I could post a picture. Just the pop-up as a please. Yeah, that's a good idea. She would do fine walking around with all the kids, too. She's just a big old lover who thinks she's still a puppy.
My friend, some of the coworkers at the bar are all just weirded out that I've never actually brought my dog into the bar. I'm like, for a reason. My dog would be nuts in
Dog
there.
would be standing at the bar ordering drinks.
Yeah, I don't have an answer beyond just that Arcade Revolution. Paul, thoughts?
Let me see here.
Big dog trying to be a lap dog. Listen, I have Great Danes. Trust me, they are gigantic dogs thinking they're lap dogs, and it's never works out. Ronaldo over on the TikTok side says, opinion on the 3090 Ti I bought for my build, but low-key wish I went for the 4000 series.
So the 3090 Ti is a really awesome card. I have a 2080 Super in my build right now, and I'm probably going to upgrade to a 3090 Ti if I can get a good deal on one. That's probably what I'm going to go to. It's a great card. It's going to last for a long time. Arcade, if you want to send me a message on Discord, I might be able to help you after the show, but not much I can do right now.
Yeah.
I should just be either Paul or P Steph in the CLX Discord.
Yes. Now, I will say this. We've got, as we get those side panels back on, I do want to walk everybody through one of the coolest experiences ever, and that is how you can get your hands on a CLX Gaming PC right now. So let's check it out. At CLXGaming.com, we try to make this as an easy of a process as possible for you to get the PC of your dreams. It's going to do exactly what you want in the way that you want. We've got NVIDIA. We've got Radeon. We've got Intel. We've got AMD, Ryzen's. We've got a little bit of just everything. You want a giant case or a short case, small case, tiny case, wide case? We've got all of them. You can make your choices right here. Yep, see all that? All the different sizes right there. And you don't have to worry about screwing anything up, because in the event that you actually select something that's not quite compatible, that little green button up top is going to go to yellow. And so then you have to solve a conflict. So in this situation, we've got a really power-intensive graphics card with not enough power supply. So it's going to say, all right, you either need to choose one of these power supplies to work with this graphics card, or if you really want this power supply, you're going to have to choose one of these graphics cards that will actually work with it. Once you solve the problem, it goes back to green, and there you go. Now, we can do a lot of things at CLX Gaming for you, which includes open loop or closed loop liquid cooling systems. We can upgrade your thermal paste. We can overclock your CPU, your GPU, both. It's awesome. Plus, we've got everything that entertainers need, especially for gamers, whether you need capture cards, beacon mix crates, beacon mics. We've got a little bit of it all, and it's all right here. Plus, we've got a one-stop shopping center for everything. First of all, you can order yourselves one of these fly-looking little windbreakers, which are fantastic, coming in reds, grays, and, of course, the fun purple lavender. Plus, we've got everything else. You want keyboards, mice, controllers, headsets, microphones, speakers, monitors, USB extenders. We've even got routers. We've even got chairs. So there you go. And if all of that seems too daunting, don't worry. We have a little thing on the sidebar that's called the RTS section. Now that stands for ready to ship. These are pre-tested, pre-configured, and pre-created PCs that come in multiple different levels of usage, whether you want an entry level, a mid-range, a high range, or an ultra high range. The level of performance is different, but you can get a good idea as to what those are capable of using, what they're doing, etc. So with that being said, for all of your future PC gaming needs, head on over to CLXGaming.com and see what we can do for you. Now, Paul, quick question. I mentioned testing. What does that mean?
So testing is where the system goes after we build it. So any PC, whether it's one of those RTS or a custom build like this, they all go through the exact same process. So once they're built and turned on, they'll go to our testing department, and the first thing we do there is get into the BIOS of the machine. We'll make sure the RAM speed's set correctly, all of our storage devices are showing up, maybe mess around with a couple other settings in there. If you choose to get your system overclocked, that's where we would set the overclock. After our BIOS is set, then we load the system, so your operating system. If you picked any games on our website, that's where we load those. If you didn't pick any games, you just get a fresh install of your OS. We don't put any bloatware on these machines. You're not going to get a whole bunch of different antivirus or weird softwares that you don't want on your PC. You just get a fresh install of Windows. And then once everything is loaded, we put the system through a 12-hour burn-in or a stress test where we run it through some benchmarking softwares and make sure everything's stable.
Absolutely. All right. Are we ready to turn this on? Because we had a question coming in from the Facebook side. Andres wants to see it turned on. We're definitely going to turn it on. Let's do it right now.
Ooh.
Ooh, God, I love this thing, especially when we just go straight purple with it. Yep. Look at that. I dig it. Now, our big confusion every time is making sure we do it there and not on for all the other lights in the room.
Yeah.
There we go. Look at that.
Oh, yeah.
Getting some of that deep purple. Nice. Nice. I dig it. All right, let's go through once more what's inside this incredible build for our friend Lily in Wisconsin. This, of course, is a special edition set NeoCube Black for the Oracle. It is an AMD Ryzen 7 7800X 3D mounted on an MSI MPG XX70E carbon Wi-Fi motherboard. It has 32 gigs of DDR5 6000 RAM plus that RX 7900 XT graphics card. There's 3 M.2s, and they are all Samsung 990 Pros. They're 2 terabytes each. Plus, we've got a 4 terabyte, 3.5-inch Seagate Barracuda in the back end. Your CPU is going to be cooled by a CLX Quench 360 ARGB AIO in black. Plus, we've got 9 different GameDS Aeolus M2 fans, and it's all being powered by our 850 watt MAG A850 GLPCIS power supply brought to you by MSI. All right, gentlemen, that's awesome. Now, normally we usually do the show in 2 parts, but today we're not. Today we're going to take it after the end of the show. We're going to head on over to my channel, and I'm going to be jumping into some Resident Evil Revelations as part of a birthday present for none other than McGee. So, with that said, this show happens every Tuesday and Thursday live, and we do it on across as many platforms as we can. That show always starts at 11 a.m. Pacific. That is 2 Eastern, Tuesdays and Thursdays. You can find out more about what's going on with CLX, including what we're doing, what's kind of happening with the community, and, you know, what's going on in the world by simply following CLX Gaming at our social media. That is YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, Threads, and it's all at CLX Gaming. You can also jump into our Discord, and that is discord.gg/CLX Gaming. So you can jump around and play around with a whole bunch of like-minded PC enthusiasts just like yourself. Now, with that being said, we'll be back on Thursday at 11 a.m. with more shows and more fun. It'll be a grand experience. So on behalf of Kyle and Jason, Paul and Zach, I'm DJ Blue PDX. Don't go away. I'll be seeing you in just a few, but thanks for watching. We'll see you Thursday.
Bye, everybody.